Let's quickly have a conversation about how to make a website secure. In today's conversation, I want to share with you 7 top tips that you need to follow right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, right now, to secure your website. But first thing first, let me give you the overview so you have a clear idea what we're talking about. See, in the United States right now, every 39 to 45 seconds, a website is attacked by a hacker. So basically, what I'm trying to say to you right now is not to leave the front door to your website wide open. You need to secure your website, which means putting protection in place to keep out hackers, bugs, and other online nasties out. Otherwise, your data could be at risk and your site could crash, or you could even lose money, especially if you have an e-commerce store. This could be problematic, okay? So how do websites get hacked? But you might ask. Well, you have a constellation of ways that websites are hacked. But first thing first, please, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. We love having this kinds of conversation every now and then. So here are some of the common ways that hacking presents itself. So you have ransomware, gibberish hack, you have cloaked keywords hack, you have Japanese keywords hack, you have malicious code or viruses, you have denial of service, DOS, and you have phishing. So for ransomware, the hacker will threaten to publish your data and or withhold access to your site unless a ransom sum is paid. For gibberish hack, you actually spot loads of auto-created pages filled with keywords and gibberish with the aim of getting them to rank on file for key terms. When clicked on, they will redirect to a dodgy site. For the cloaked keywords hack, and this is another variation of the gibberish hack. So you have your websites will look like they will create pages that look similar to your website pages, okay? But the thing is that the written content is altered. For Japanese keywords hack, they create random pages in Japanese full of affiliate links to stores selling fake merchandise. For malicious code viruses, if malicious code or virus is inserted into your site may well go down, or you could actually be unable to use it or to access it. You may find that all of your hardware is also affected. So it's not just the software, but also your hardware. For DOS hacks, hackers use bots to overload a website with requests and crash the server it's on. For phishing, scammers contact your clients pretending to be part of your business and using your branding in the hope of finding personal information. So now that I have actually explained everything to you, let me just give you the steps you need to follow. If you want to secure your website, the first thing you need to do is to install SSL. Very important. One of the easiest things you can do to protect your website, yourself, and your users is to install a secure sockets layer certificate. You may not realize it, but you come across SSL all the time when you browse the web. It's the reason for the S in HTTPS and the padlock in the address bar, okay? And the cool thing here is that when you install an SSL certificate, it really encrypts data, such as login details passing between your sites and your visitors. So there are different levels of SSL. E-commerce sites processing payment details, for example, should use a more advanced version, okay? And it's really important to understand that SSL encrypts information passing between your website and your visitors. So this sort of a hole between your visitors and your website, this is what SSL protects. Okay, Google, as a matter of fact, Google now warns visitors when they are entering a site without SSL, and even quote unquote discriminates against those sites in its search results. In other words, they're pushing down the list when it comes to their search results. Here is the approach I want you to really think about. You need to understand that an SSL certificate is a must-have if you run an e-commerce store or collect visitor information like emails on your site. In addition to boosting SEO, SSL certificates prove that any data your visitors send to your site is using an encrypted channel, so hackers cannot see it while it's in transit. Okay, so it's really important. And by the way, I want to quickly remind you again of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to make a website secure. I'm giving you our top 7 tips to help you secure your website. There are multiple ways to install SSL. The three main ways we suggest are: choose a good quality website builder that includes SSL for free. Choose a hosting provider such as HostGator or other players out there that provides a free SSL with all plans. Okay, and if you are building your site using a content management system such as WordPress.org, then you want to have a hosting provider, or you can install a basic Let's Encrypt SSL for free yourself. Okay, so you do have options out here. And if you want a much higher level of security, you need to pay for an advanced SSL certificate. This vary in price, and you can buy them from hosting providers or domain registrars. And unless you are running a large online store or handling large amounts of sensitive data, the free version of SSL will probably be enough. Okay. So the first thing you have to do here is to install SSL. Second thing you need to do here is to use anti-malware software. This is so important because anti-malware software might sound like a lot of jargon, but the good news is that anti-malware software actually does the hard work for you. So you don't need to worry about anything when it comes to the technical stuff. And there are plenty of different anti-malware options out there. Some have free plans like the Bite Defender Antivirus Free, while others you have to pay for, such as SiteLock. It really depends on the kind of business you are running through your website and how well you want your website to be protected. Okay, and so here are the pro tips I want to share with you. The thing is that SiteLock, for example, is actually used by over 12 million websites and offers different packages that provide varying levels of protection. This means that you can tailor your security to your site's needs as well as your budget. And some of the security services it provides include: you have web scanning, you have malware detection and removal, you have web application firewall, you have vulnerability patching, you have DDoS protection, okay, you have PCI compliance. And so one thing I want to say here is that if you don't know what all of this means, that's okay. That's what anti-malware software is there for. A good quality website builder, or let's say a hosting provider, should look after your site's security for you. Hosting providers often include anti-malware software as part of their plans. Some even throw in paid services like SiteLock for free. And other providers include a built-in set of tools like InMotion, for example. InMotion they actually include a security suite on its cheapest plan. So that is actually made up of free SSL, hack protection, automatic backups. This is really cool. You have DDoS protection. So you can see here that the bottom line is you are protected and you are really well taken care of. So these are the security basics for your site and the features you should look for whenever you're looking at picking a hosting provider. So whether your provider comes with tools built in or offers extra freebies such as SiteLock, anti-malware software gives you a welcome extra layer of protection, and you need to have that. You need to have it. This is not something that you can negotiate because, again, it's all about having a good visitor experience, but also security, especially if you are handling customer data. If you're handling visitor data, you need to have SSL security. The third thing I want you to do here is to make your passwords uncrackable. Okay, when we talk about making your website secure, remember, you install SSL, use anti-malware software, and you want to make your passwords uncrackable. Now, when we talk about passwords, you're thinking, well, this is easy, I can do it. No. Passwords are so familiar that we can sometimes forget just how important they are. Okay, it's very easy to overlook the fact that often your passwords is all that's standing between a hacker and your personal information, if you really think about it. So not only are passwords a vitally important step, but they are also one of the easiest things you can change to increase the security of your website. So what you want to do here is that you want to spend just 20 minutes or 30 minutes today making your passwords stronger, and you'll be on your way to a more secure website. Okay. And so when we talk about password security, we're talking about making sure that you don't have passwords that are easily guessable. In other words, You want to have websites that are not website passwords. They're not so like don't have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. Don't have QWERTY. Don't have 11111. Don't have those. Okay. It's really important to think about that. Also, it's really important not to have a don't have generic passwords. For example, password 1 or password 123. No. The bottom line is you want to have a password that is uncrackable, that is very hard to guess. Okay. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to make a website secure. Okay. So instead of using easy to guess phrases, here are some things you should do instead. You can try to combine three random, unrelated, but memorable phrases. You can use a randomly generated sequence of characters. Don't reuse passwords. Use a password manager to keep track of them all. Make your passwords long. The longer the better. And never use personal information in your password. That's the first thing hackers will try. Okay, so there's a seemingly endless list of password tips out there. And you should combine a few of these tactics to create uncrackable passwords. So once you've got your shiny new bulletproof passwords, be careful with them. Do not share them around, even with friends, and do change them regularly, about once every quarter. One thing I need to say here is that please also remember to always remember your password. Remember to remember your passwords. Keep them memorable. Number 4, I want you to keep your websites up to date. Okay, it's all about keeping everything up to date. I mean, we're not talking here about posting the latest gossip or keeping your visitors in the loop with your newest products. No, I'm talking about the importance of keeping your website software up to date. Every website has some kind of software running in the background. Okay. And you want to make sure that software is up to date. If you use a website builder, you don't need to worry about this so much because most builders, you will handle software updates and security issues for you. However, if you are using a platform such as WordPress, you need to be totally on top of things and running updates when necessary. You need to run updates for your WordPress core software, as well as any plugins you have installed. If you don't, then everything can be outdated and vulnerable to bugs, glitches, and worst of all, hackers wielding malicious code. So here is a pick for you. You need to understand that if you're trying to update your website often, that's a great thing because you should be able to set those updates to happen automatically in your dashboard. You don't have to worry about everything doing. You have to do things manually. Okay. And one thing I want to say here is that if you are having a WordPress website, it's important to have a mental notes or just to have a reminders somewhere. You can set it up in your calendar somewhere. So maybe once every quarter or once every month, just quickly, it takes 10 minutes, it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay. So you are keeping an eye on, those software updates, and you are making sure everything is running smoothly. Okay. Letting your site become outdated can be a fatal blow in terms of security. So it doesn't hurt to be vigilant about staying on top of updates. Okay, so this is kind of cool. Now, when you are choosing plugins for your website, for your WordPress website, be careful about the quality. Plugins can be built by anyone, and poor quality ones can actually contain bugs or malicious code. So you want to read reviews, you want to look for trusted developers, and you want to check out the plugin thoroughly before clicking install. Okay, don't you trust anything you see on the internet or anything you see when it comes to WordPress plugins. Again, word of caution here. Step number 5, or tip number 5, do not help the hackers. You know, the whole thing is, when you hear when we talk about, well, how do I help hackers? Well, it's really important to understand that when we talk about you having the right strategy in place to secure your website, it's because you're not actually handing over your details or letting your site be hacked. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that you want to safeguard your data. You want to safeguard your access, your login access. Okay, you don't want to actually be the only the very person to hand your data to the hackers. There's always more tech you can put in place to protect your website, but you should not forget that 95% of cybersecurity breaches are due to human error. So you want to protect your website by being on your guard and being suspicious of texts, emails, or phone calls asking for personal information. This is really important, boss. So here's the decision I want you to really make right now. Now, you might be thinking this sounds simple enough. It is simple. But unfortunately, scams are growing ever more sophisticated. So here are 5 things you can do to make sure your website doesn't open the door to unwelcome visitors. So beware of public or open internet connections. If you are working in a shared space like a cafe, or those are not secure. Never click on links and emails that seem suspect. Seriously, if anything seems suspicious, do not click on it. Delete the email straight away. This is still important if you are using a professional email connected to your website instead of a personal one. Be careful who you grant access to your website, whom you actually, so you want to check admins. You want to make sure the admins are people you can trust, and make sure they are security conscious. They have to also have this sort of consciousness when it comes to security. You want to change the default settings, passwords, and usernames of your site as soon as you have set up your account. This is especially important for WordPress sites. And you want to try to only trust verified professionals to access your sites. For example, scammers sometimes want to take control of your screen under the pretense of fixing a technical issue. Okay, so you get the idea. We know this seems like common sense, but phishing emails are becoming increasingly realistic. So you need to stay on high alert at all times. Okay, and again, this is for your website. This is for your security. This is for your client's security. If you are handling clients' data, you really owe your clients to have to actually add that extra layer of security when dealing with, I would say, outsiders. The next thing I want you to do here is to manually accept on-site comments. Okay, I mean, nowadays we have websites whereby you are able to accept comments automatically and all that kind of stuff. This is good, but if you want to reduce the probability of having, let's say, of having hackers or having phishing or having spammy comments on your website, it's just a lot better to manually accept on-site comments. And the thing here is that you need to understand that comments are the perfect way to measure engagement, provide social proof to other visitors, connect with other people in your niche, and even take on constructive feedback. We love receiving comments, and you should do too. Okay. However, there are always those comments that are not quite so fun. You have bots, fake accounts, and trolls already and waiting with a silly comments or spammy link. At best, it's annoying. At worst, it can pose a security risk to you and your users. So if people can post comment directly to your website, there is a chance that malicious links might sneak into the comment section. This is particularly dangerous for your website's visitors who might click on the link and risk exposing personal data or accidentally install malware on their own devices. Okay, so to combat this, you can change your site's settings so that you need to manually approve comments before they appear on your site, giving you the chance to delete any spam. Other ways to reduce these malicious links include using an anti-spam software or plugin such as, WordPress. So if you have a Akismet, for example, is really good for WordPress users. You can ask visitors to register before they can start commenting. You can turn off comments on posts after a month or 2. So these tactics should keep your comment section a safe, fun, and happy place for both you and your visitors, and keep hackers and their malicious links on the outside. Okay, this is really important. And another thing I want you to do right now is to run regular backups. This is really important. And the thing here is that if you follow each of the steps that I have spoken about so far, you will see that you really improve your chances of getting a hold of your website security. But one thing that's really important to understand here is that you need to run regular backups. A backup is essentially a copy of your website data, such as files, content, media, and databases. So if you have a large and complicated website, you will need a larger amount of backup storage to save all of your data. And you have to do this, okay? And so there are a lot of services out there that will help you do this. So you can use a backup service. You can use a web host that includes backups in its plans. You can use a WordPress plugin. Okay, so using a backup service is usually the safest and most reliable way to go. Still, whichever backup method you choose, there are some important things that you need to think about beforehand. You also need to think about offsite backups, automated backups, redundant backups, regular backups. Okay, so the more frequently you update your website, the more frequent your backups should be. So we recommend erring on the we actually recommend erring on the side of caution. Though, if you come under attack, you will never be sorry that you backed up your site too much, right? It's all about really having that extra layer of caution. And so one thing I want to say here is that, and I want to share with you a bonus here. If you are still with us right now, I want to share with you a bonus, and I want to say that when we talk about cybersecurity, this is so important because we have in the last few years we have heard a lot of stories about very important websites being breached. So we have, for example, we have a Zynga, where about 180 million records were hacked. Okay, I'm talking about things like usernames, passwords, login and Facebook IDs, phone numbers, and Zynga account IDs. This is really crazy. You also have 7-Eleven in Japan, where you have about 500,000 of customers' money that was lost. Okay. And you have another incident that happened not long ago. You have Marriott, where 500 million guest data were exposed. I'm speaking about things like names, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, passport numbers, date of births, dates of birth, genders, encrypted payment details. So you can see, and this happened in 2014. So again, the risk is there. The risk is really there, and the risk is real. Okay, we're not sitting here just playing games here. No, this is a real thing. So if this happened to those big companies, I mean, Marriott is a multi-billion-dollar company. If this can happen to them, you bet it can happen to you also, to your website also. Which is why we're putting. I mean, I'm just giving you those data to contextualize the whole conversation, so you understand the importance of securing your website. And you got to secure your website right now. You got to start today. Okay, this is not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today you got to start securing your website. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to make a website secure. And I actually share with you our 7 top tips. And so I explained to you first how websites get hacked. And then the 7 top tips: you want to install SSL, you want to use anti-malware software, you want to make your passwords uncrackable, you want to keep your websites up to date, you want to make sure that you don't help the hackers, okay? You want to manually accept on-site comments, and you want to run regular backups. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.